Nope.
There we go. Thank you. I've learned you have to turn this thing on. Anyway, Bill Harrison, commercial property owner in downtown Royal Oak. Just a few potpourri of comments. Now that we have Park Mobile, or will have Park Mobile on, we need to get a parking revenue report. Like when I was on the DDA, there's a spreadsheet that talked about each parking lot or structure, how many spaces were available, what the revenue was. It would be nice to see this at least on a quarterly basis, if not, or at least every 6 months, if not on a quarterly basis. Just a question of, we need an update on the balance of payments between the bond debt service and the parking revenue. I remember the DDA got tapped, was it for $1.5 million or whatever? I'd like to see an update on that. The bounce house, these people are asking for $10,000 at the 11th and a half hour. It's not a crisis, but I'm surprised, based on past history of Arts Beats and Eats, that they're even allowed to do this. Just recounting the first Arts Beats and Eats, John Witz sent the police into one of my tenants twice to tell him he couldn't sell pop out of his pop cooler that he had 365 days out of the year. And he called me, told me, and I told him, if they come in again, call me, I'll fix it. The new structure for the DDA, it was mentioned that there'd be a future communications / marketing position or outside service. I would prefer to have somebody that we own. Our experience with outside services ranges anywhere from tremendous to horrendous. So just kind of keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. Who's next? Mr. Albert.
Good afternoon. My name is Frank Hobrecht, and I've got 2 buildings in the DDA. And I'm going to first speak about the Kresge building at 408 South Washington. I've been here probably, I don't know, the last 5 years, every month, to talk about the alley, the dirt alley that we have behind our building. I had a great conversation with my neighbor who lives in the 5th last week. My neighbor is in a wheelchair. He's a quadriplegic. He's never going to be able to go down this alley because our alley is dirt and gravel and filled with potholes. He might make it to this meeting here sometime. He's a good guy. He's just really sharp and alert, but he's never going to be able to go down this alley. Mr. Sophia and Mr. Dunstan, we met 8 months ago on December 20th in our dirt alley, and I don't think anything's happened. In the meantime, we kept on hearing, you got to pay, you got to pay. I went through the budget, and I knew that we've done alley improvements. In the year 2022-23, do you know that we spent $238,000 on the alley from 3rd to 4th? In the same time in the budget, we have $131,000 for the alley from 4th to 5th. It's a beautiful alley. I just walked past it. It's lovely. I have a dirt alley. I saw my dirt. I walked through it this morning. We should be able to do better. My guy who lives next door is never going to be able to go down our alley. And God forbid if there was a fire in the front of one of our restaurants, one of our tenants, it couldn't go out with his wheelchair. Couldn't make it. I think we have a duty to do a better job. You know, we look at, you know, that ramp right there, that's an ADA ramp. We do things because we want to take care of our neighbors. And God forbid if we ever end up in a wheelchair, we'll want those alleys and we'll want those access ways paved. Unrelated, but still in reference to what Mr. Harrison said about Arts Beats and Eats, my building down the street, speaking of alleys, I've been told that my parking lot for my tenants is now maybe not even my parking lot, that it has to be permitted. I have to have permission to use my own parking lot. The city of Royal Oak has transferred this, the ownership of the alley for the 4 or 5 days. And my people need to show up for work every single day. They have to pay me. I have to pay the mortgage. I have to pay the taxes. I have to pay the insurance. I have to pay the water. I have to pay these things. And my people deserve to be able to park on private property. So please, think about those of us that are not going to participate in Arts, Beats, and Eats, but we still are open for business. And my people need to be able to do business. They're going to do a lot of business with Uber Eats and Uber Lyft and all the other different DoorDash and all that stuff. They'll stay alive, but they have to be able to park their cars. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else for public comment today? Seeing none, I will close public comment. Move on to the regular agenda. Approval of the minutes. We have two different things here, so we'll take these, probably should take these separately. Minutes for June 16, 2025, regular meeting minutes. Motion by Director Dunstan.
Support.
Supported by Director Walker. Any questions? Comments? Seeing none? Call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Second one is June 16, 2025, DDA special meeting minutes. Motion by Director Dunstan.
Support.
Supported by Director Gottschall. Any questions? Comments? Seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, next item, we have a presentation from Main Street, Oakland County Accreditation.
Hey there. Afternoon, everyone. John Bry, Program Coordinator for Main Street, Oakland County. Before I get into the quick presentation about your accreditation, I'm going to do a little bit of a brief commercial for folks listening in on a couple of opportunities through the county's Main Street program that might be of interest to some of the businesses and property owners in downtown Royal Oak. So currently we have the Genesis Micro Business Grant applications that are open. These are for businesses in the downtown district that are less than 5 years old. It's a matching grant, meaning that they have to match it for what they're asking for. It's a reimbursable grant, meaning they have to spend the money for what they said they're going to do, and then we will reimburse them for that amount. The grant amount is up to potentially $5,000 if it's awarded, and it can be used for pretty much anything that they need: inventory, fixtures, marketing. The only thing that the Genesis Credit Union, our sponsor, doesn't like to fund is signage. And we typically like to defer them to a local facade grant program if the district has one, and I know you do. So we route them back that way if they're looking for that kind of support. So that's one. The second grant that we'll be opening here in September is with Michigan State Federal Credit Union called Main Street Connected. It's for technology needs. There's no age limit on the businesses. They have to be in the district. And it can be used just like it implies for technology needs if they are so inclined. So we've had applicants apply for creating websites, e-commerce, purchasing point of sale systems. So anything like that that the business may be looking for to invest for technology, that would be a grant that they could be applying for. So we'll be sending out the application links for that here in September. So that round will be open soon. Average grant for that one is $2,500. Same situation, matching reimbursement, just like the Genesis one. Other thing I've already discussed with Susan and Emily, the technical assistance grant that we provide to Royal Oak, the $15,000. I think we've got that figured out, what that's going to be used for. And looking forward to continue to working with you on the 5th Street Promenade that we invested through the county's ARPA program for the Main Street districts for that project. So if you need any help, guidance, questions related to the technical assistance grants, the ARPA process, I'm your contact. I'm your liaison for Royal Oak as well. So just let me know as you continue to go through those efforts. So on to the presentation. Congratulations, you were accredited again with Main Street America and Main Street Oakland County. I forget how many consecutive years this is for Royal Oak. I'd have to look it up. You got to beat Rochester. They've been accredited 20 years in a row. So Rochester's got the lead mark on accreditation. A reminder, this is what we do. We normally bring in an outside person with Main Street America to do an accreditation review with each of the Main Street communities in the county, the select level Main Street communities such as Royal Oak. And you guys passed. There's the 6 criteria that they guide on, everything from collaboration with the local government to having Apple funding, engagement with the community, volunteers. There is no Main Street community across the nation, and there are 2,000 of them that is perfect, or in Oakland County that's perfect. But you guys are meeting the criteria and the benchmarks that they look for, vibrant and successful downtown efforts, even though there's always issues to address and to do better on. So it's my honor to recognize you guys tonight as accredited for 2024. We'll be back again in January to do 2025. And you join 12 other select level Main Street communities in Oakland County that received that designation. The lower accreditation tier that we do is known as affiliate. And overall, between the accredited communities and the affiliate communities, Oakland County has 22. The highest number in Michigan, so something to be proud of. And one last commercial, the Michigan Downtown Association conference for the fall will be in Rochester this year, so encourage you guys to attend if you can, since it's going to be sort of in the neighborhood. So without further ado, it's my honor to present your accreditation plaque to you, and as customary, I'm going to give this to you, and then I'm going to ask you to pose for a quick photo with the Royal Oak emblem, and I will get out of your way. Congratulations. So, photo time. And we'll put this in a social media post and send your way, and you guys can use it how you want.
Shot. You need the chair out of the way?
Thank you.
Do you have a business card on you?
What's that?
Do you have a business card?
I'm going to leave these with you. I'm on here. So these are the annual reports that we do in my program. So I'm going to leave these with you. A couple shy, I'm sorry. So any questions for me for a quick question?
On
Yes.
that, the Genesis grant,
Yes.
is there a ceiling on that as far as if they set an amount?
On average, the average grant that they would award, if it's awarded or selected, is $5,000.
But is there a pool, was there like how much did they put towards this?
Oh, they put about 25,000 towards it for each. We run 2 cycles a year, so yeah. So it's competitive, but it's a pretty relatively easy grant to get, and I can't stress quality enough because sometimes the applicants don't put enough information in their application, and they got nothing to go by. So if there's anyone interested in applying, just let me know. If they need help on the application, we're happy to work with them.
Okay, thank you, John.
Thank you, John. Thanks.
Okay, moving on. Our next item is expense items. I don't know if the board's had a chance to look at these. This is for informational only. Any questions for staff regarding these items? Not seeing anything, so we will move on to regular business. First item is Royal Oak Live 45-day report. Shelley?
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Shelley Kemp. I am the president and CEO of the Royal Oak Chamber of Commerce. I did submit our expenses. I submitted a little bit of a brief wrap-up about Royal Oak Live. It was our 3rd year over here in Centennial Commons, which I love. Thank you again for having Centennial Commons. We appreciate it. But again, we had another year of world-class jazz, R&B, Latin, funk, all of those kind of, different groups than we normally have around here. So it was a very hot weekend. It was excruciating. Heather Zeller, who is our director of events, and I could attest to how hot it was. But it was a good weekend. I know everybody enjoyed it. We have people that come in from different states, Indiana, Illinois. I know a lot of people came from Ohio. So it's a different kind of vibe than I think maybe we have normally. So I can answer any questions or.
Okay. Any questions for Shelley? Seeing none, I did attend, so I think it was a great event.
Thank you.
And I think everybody did a good job maintaining the park and everything, so.
That I am obsessed with that. I
Yeah.
would like everyone to understand. We pick up garbage. We are in there at night where, Heather's like, where are your gloves? I'm like, whatever, I just wash my hands. But it is really important to me that park looks as good or better than when we got there. So I hope it looks like it every time we do something over there.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Shelley.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day, you
Appreciate it.
guys. Thank you.
Okay, the chair with the agreement from Eganex, I'm gonna switch these next two items around, unless there's some objection. And we'll deal with the facade improvement request, right now. So we're gonna talk about the facade improvement application for 313 South Washington.
Okay.
Sir, come forward if you don't mind. Sure. Need your name for the record also, please.
My name's Doug Scheibner, and I own the business called It's Your Window. Grew up in Royal Oak, all my life here just about, and I moved my business here from Pleasant Ridge in April of 1977 onto Washington Avenue, do interior design, custom window treatments, and I believe I'm the second owner of the building, actually, which was Acres Florist. And I bought the building from Eleanor and Mr. Akehurst. I'm not sure when it was, because I'm getting kind of old myself now. I think the building was built about 1936, and we're basically going to redo some of the glass and some of the frames. Grossbeck Glasses did some work for me a couple years ago, and basically nothing is physically going to change other than we want to put new siding on because it's lasted quite long enough, probably past its age it should have. And the awning actually is going to be maintained the same awning, Belle Isle awning. They did the original one, and we're going to paint the porcelain panels on the top. I've done that probably about twice already in the last 30 years, something like that. So basically, it's an opportunity to just. It's the first building you see when you cross over the railroad tracks coming south from the parking structure, and it'd be kind of nice to have it a little brighter and nicer and that type of thing. So, and this is an opportunity to, it'll help against, the expenses are going to exceed quite a bit more than what I initially thought, but it's needed, and I'm very fortunate to been able to be a part of this community for a lot of years. So thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for the applicant? I do have one, if you don't mind, sir.
Sure.
Regarding your application, the windows, the new windows that you're proposing, is that something you're going to be doing yourself, or?
Oh, no.
It's an outside company that's coming in?
I can do a lot of things myself. I can make a mess of a lot of things, but no. Grossbeck Glazing They're a union contractor. They do a lot of work in Royal Oak
Okay.
at McDonald's. No, and they're not going to do it all at one time. It's cost. I'm going to do as much as I can this fall, and then I told them in the spring. They're basically, what they're taking is they're taking the frame out. They're putting new frames in, anodized bronze frames, and no, and they're replacing. It's exactly what it is. There's no changes.
Okay, so it's an outside company
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
coming in to do all this work?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason why I ask is
Yeah.
because typically when owners, we would not reimburse for labor costs for owners to work on their own.
My wife prefers I
no.
stay off the ladder.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate that. Okay. Is there anything else? for
Yeah, I
this?
just want to thank you for being in business for so long here in Royal Oak.
Well,
And
thank you.
23 years ago, you came to my condo, brand new condo, and you put in shades and they're still there.
There-
Remember me?
Yeah, the problem in this business, they're not supposed to last that long.
I know, I'm sorry. They've made it through grandkids,
Yeah.
believe it or not.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, so the infrastructure did review the materials and has made a recommendation to the board. There is a suggested resolution. Motion by Director Gulasso. Supported by Director Dubak. Anything else? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion passes.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate all your time and hope to maintain the business
Just a
there for-
reminder, make sure you keep all your receipts and
Yeah.
you'll need those.
My wife will do that.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Okay, now, Egan X presentation.
So our friends at EganX are going to come up and provide their presentation. Kevin wasn't able to be here tonight, so
Okay,
they're going to take it away from there.
Hello. My name is Jerry Moreno, and this is
Good afternoon. My name is Joshua Hotz.
my first time speaking in this sort of format, so this should be pretty interesting. But we are with Organics. We're field technicians, and I do have some handouts for you. I've always wanted to say that. So basically, our program is Overwatch, and we are a program of regulation through education. So what we do is different cities sign up with us, and they pick sort of different hot spots in the city that may be getting vectored or jetted, kind of consistently and a lot. So we're trying to aim to reduce that. And how we're doing that is we go into the restaurants and we conduct over a 40-plus point inspection. And that involves, checking grease traps, checking when's the last time you cleaned a grease trap. Is somebody dumping sheets of bacon grease down the dishwasher, down the drains? When they're disposing of the used oil out in the dumpster in the back, is that running into the overflow or the storm system outside? We're sort of working with all the different employees of the restaurant to make sure that everybody understands how they should be disposing of grease, how they should be kind of managing fats, oils, and that type of deal. So that's kind of my brief explanation of that. Any
Biggest thing
questions?
is we're not here to be, like, I guess, assertive. We're here to be educational, more or less. We're here to help the community out.
okay. I'm sure we have some questions.
Make a comment?
Sure.
I'll make a comment on behalf of my other duty as a city. So since Kevin's not here, I can speak on behalf of Kevin, the Director of Public Works. Kevin, our Public Works, has been working with Devin, our Sustainability Systems Manager, and they're really examining how the city has historically responded to and managed fats, oil, and greases or fog issues. And, Kevin, upon his arrival, has kind of been examining things and learning the past 6 months, and he's come to the understanding that we have more of a reactive approach to how we handle grease. And so really the downstream effects, pun intended, is that on the city system, essentially, as if this grease ends up in our catch basins and in our system, we are actually quite costly treating this reactively. So we will drop in essentially pellets to break it up. And we have to do that consistently. And that's kind of the reactive approach. So we're trying to get ahead of that before that happens, understanding, you know, where this is really happening in the hotspots areas, whether it's on the corridor. It's usually where there's restaurant density. So we can kind of take a more proactive approach and understand the problem, saving us all on headaches and storm system backups, saving us on overtime costs, frankly, for the DPW on the weekends for when they have to respond to that. So that's just a little bit more context there. And I know the EAB board, the Environmental Advisory Board, also took this issue up as well. They're also interested in taking a more proactive approach on the environmental side.
Okay. Are you currently working with some other communities in our area right now?
Yes. A few examples are Livonia. We do work up in Bay City, Bloomfield Hills. Just a couple of examples around here.
And when you go into those restaurants and do your education and such, I'm trying to figure out how you guys make your funding out of this, where the funding's coming from, and
So we
forth.
are, the budget's not my strong suit, but I believe that we are funded by you guys, and then we do kind of, so I got this. Sorry, excuse me.
that's okay.
So when you guys sign up, we pick a certain amount of locations, and then we are provided funding per location. And so we do that, and then we also do water sampling, and then we also take funding from that as well.
Okay.
So it's kind of a double there.
So, and that's what I was trying to get at. You answered it fine. You did a good job. But I guess, so when you contractually, you sign on with a community, not the individual establishments or
Yes,
something.
yep, with community, yes.
Okay. Mr. Duval.
Thank you. So am I understanding right then, I mean, there's no real enforcement or regulatory authority that we have, so this is really based on the willing participation of those restaurants. Like, were we to enter into a contract like this, you'd be providing this as a resource to the DDA and for establishments within the DDA, but those restaurants would have to willingly work with you? Or do we have some regulatory authority that would require them to work with you?
More or less, yes, but also they have to pertain to your ordinance as well.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Mr. Couch.
Yeah, through the chair, there are health codes and there are certain codes governed by the building code that the city is, through the state, you know, we do have the ability to regulate, and it is in the city's interest. So right now, as I said, we haven't regulated in the past. Right. And this is sponsored, this service is sponsored by the city commission at the request of the Public Works Director. And again, I think, you know, we need to understand the problem right now, but we have some substantial costs that we've incurred based on the historical approach. So we're just kind of examining that and making sure that we're treating our water infrastructure as best we can.
Thank you for that. And I'm fully supportive of the concept. I think there's a lot to be gained here because it's something that we've been talking about for a lot of years and really haven't had a solution for. I just want to make sure that we can force the issue and that it's not just educational and they can take it or leave it, that we are actually in a proactive stance as intended to be.
I think so, yeah. Okay. That's the
And
intention.
just to kind of reiterate, one thing that we do is we do work with each community, and we make sure that in their ordinances, we do put kind of, you know, quote unquote teeth in there, so that there is something. And when we do take water samples, we have a magic number of 100 milliliters per liter. And so if you're over that number, then in that ordinance is written that, you know, we have to get it down, and that's sort of what our job is to go into the restaurant and see how can we bring this number under the 100 milliliters. And then if, you know, you're continuously over, you know, over a matter of 6, 7, 8 months, then we can say, okay, well, we really need to work on this, or the city can come down on you and, you know, right, fine.
Your facility down.
Ultimately, yes.
And so it does look like in your outline here, it likely would require some updates to our ordinances? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Gaucho, would you recommend, if the board concurs, would you recommend that we send this back to Mr. Yee to follow up and get some more information from us with these people? Is that, I mean, I'm looking at a procedure here.
Yeah, I think procedurally what would be helpful is for the DDA to take a help Eugenics and help, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, by the way. The DPW kind of proactively communicate to the businesses that, you know, the DDA is aware of this. We support, you know, responsible fog treatment essentially. And so we're going to be, you might be seeing representatives from Eugenics. I'm not sure how you guys identify that list of businesses and start your outreach, but I think it's always helpful when the city and the DDA are supportive of that outreach for you guys.
Yeah.
I can, what I'm trying to do here is, I can see this board being supportive of it, but we don't, to enact a program isn't gonna come from this group. It's gonna come from somebody.
Yeah, it's coming from the city, but.
You know, so, you know, that's what I was trying to wonder whether it should go back to Mr. Yee and for him to kind of lead us through the program.
Yeah, I think that if there's an ask, I think certainly we could go back to the directors to have him come back with kind of progress report and maybe a little bit of a walkthrough for how things have gone after the first quarter.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. Any other questions? Anybody wanna? Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Very
Thank you.
interesting.
Have a good evening.
Okay, moving on. Request for sponsorship of inflatable playscapes at Arts Pizza and Eats. I don't know who brought this to,
We did receive a request from Mr. John Witz to have some additional funding for Arts Beats and Eats and for the inflatable playscapes. So, not for you?
For me.
For my apologies. Do you mind introducing yourself for the
Yes,
record?
I am Miriam Pizzana, and I'm the owner of Inflatable Play Spaces. I am located in Royal Oak. I've been here for 18 years. So we do indoor play, and then we also do rentals. So it's been a really good area to do this because Royal Oak is very family friendly. So we get a lot of repeat business and a lot of business from Royal Oak. So we're asking for a renewal of a grant that we've gotten in the past. So at first, we would sell tickets for the kids to use the equipment. And then we were able to get grants. So we're asking for a renewal of the grant because it would really help the families. I get a chance to talk to a lot of the families while I'm there. You know, when they walk up and say, you know, how much is it? The kids walk up, how much is it? Because everything costs, and when we say it's free, they're like, oh my God, you know, so they can play as much as they want.
So for context, the grant previously came through ARPA dollars with the city. So that funding has ended, and that's where this ask is also kind of coming into play.
okay, does anybody have any questions for this young lady? Mr. DeBoer.
How many years in a row has it been free to the public under ARPA grants?
About last 4 years.
4 years.
Oh, well, we lost one, okay,
Right.
okay.
And it's been that long since you said at one point you were selling tickets? But you're saying it's been at least 3 years?
At least 3 years, yeah.
Okay.
Like 21.
And even with it being free, are you tracking how many folks are using it each year over the last few years?
So they estimate around 8,000 kids. It's less if it's tickets because if you can play for free, you're going to get more.
Like per festival? Over the last few years?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Can you remind me of the location?
Of my location?
Well, yeah, where would you set it up?
Oh, we're at the church, is it United Methodist? Yeah, the church, it's on the church lawn. It used to be over where Oakland Community College was on that grassy area until they were under construction, so then that's when we moved. Been in where United Methodist is for the last 3 years, about 3 years.
Dr. London?
When you charged, did you make money?
Yes, we made money. It's, it can vary from year to year. We would charge $2 to $4 for a piece of equipment. Each piece of equipment is pretty different, so it just depends on that. And then for some, we would let them go twice, like if it's a slide or something.
Through my own personal experience as a dad of 2 young ones, that's got to be hard to track them if you got multiple equipments, because they will just...
Well, no, well, we have attendants. We have people,
Yeah.
to make sure that they're using the equipment safely and everything, so the attendants are pretty good, so.
Yeah.
Director Yazbek?
I think that we spend a lot of money for adults around here and all their various activities, so I would support doing something for the kids. And this is very fun, and I know
And
it's
adults
tough
get on it too.
Pardon?
Adults get on too. So they'll slide with their kids.
That was
or-
supposed to be between us. You weren't
I
supposed
know,
to.
I mean, we're doing both, right?
I think it's a great idea to do something that the kids could have a lot of fun on, and the parents can relax for a minute and watch their kids be entertained. So I would make a motion to approve this resolution.
Support.
I have a motion by Director Yazbek. I think it was supported by Director Dubak. Further discussion? Mr. Van Ness?
I support this at a little over, a buck a kid. I think it's well worth it. But what the ARPA funds that were received over the last 4 years, was that $10,000 a year, or were there differing amounts based on your costs?
It was like 15, 16 the first year, and then it went down to, I think, 12 last year. So I'm willing to take the 10 because I want my employees to be able to work. They love it before they go back up to school, and it's a good cause.
So even though the 10,000 is less than what ARPA had given you the last 4 years,
They gave
you can
me
make it
12
work?
last year.
Okay.
Director Dodson?
Yeah, I totally support this. I think it's great. My only problem is just how this came about. And I can't believe, like, in the last 2 weeks, all of a sudden and this has nothing to do with you, totally support this, but that in the last 2 weeks, we all of a sudden realized, oh geez, there's no ARPA funds to cover this. The way it used to work, for those that are new up here, is, we were part of the contract with the DDA, in the city, and it was a 3-party contract in Arts, Beats, and Eats. We would get reimbursed. Generally, we get reimbursed our $100,000. Now we're up to $150,000 in sponsorship. We don't get reimbursed anymore. We weren't consulted on that. We were just taken out of the contract. We put another 20 grand in for downtown dollars. So I support this, but I certainly hope whoever this request ultimately came from looks in the future for, either comes to us sooner or looks in the future to come for alternate funding on this. I don't like the way that this is coming a week beforehand, kind of, putting a little bit of pressure on us. I don't think that's totally fair. I don't think it's fair to you to, I know you got to staff it. So whoever requested this, I would hope that they get their ducks in a row next time, and let's do this a little bit more orderly.
Director London?
You just kind of said my point. To me, it's a slippery slope. Everyone, I feel, except if you're a bar or restaurant or one of the few businesses on our corner spot, we all lose at Arts, Beats, and Eats. It's a great thing for the city. I am supportive of the idea of the festival, but I'm not the idea of us giving our city rate for free. So basically, we pay the city $170,000 and always ask for more money. If he wants to put on a festival, he needs to invest his own money. Like, I invest my own money in my own business. So every month, I have to pay rent, I have to pay my staff, I have to pay all those things, even when the city gets closed down for a festival, a bar crawl, or whatever. And so as a business owner, you're investing how much it costs you to put these light water toys up, and you charge to make money. And now you're asking us, well, can you give us free rent? Well, I don't get free rent. So I think it's a slippery slope to all of a sudden businesses say, oh, I have a business in Royal Oak, I want to do this, will you pay my spot? Well, it's a big ask for every city to pay for everyone's spot, because I have to pay for my spot and I get nothing. Well, I do get support from the city as far as downtown dollars, I just didn't say that. But anyways, it's, to me, I feel it's sneaky how it was brought up. I think you're put in a bad position. And I'm not supportive of how this came to us. If John Witz was given $170,000, ask him for the money. That's my position.
Director Johnson.
Well, I do want to point out, this isn't John's request. This request came from somebody else. John's not making this request. Just so you understand.
Okay. Director Dubois.
No, I understand the concerns with the timing, and I think it gets to a broader conversation we need to have about our overall budget and making sure we have a clear line of sight to what we intend to put in supports of sponsorships and festivals and things in the downtown. I think that's a broader conversation. This particular issue, one, I don't think we're subsidizing the business or the festival, because the bounce houses are going to be there either way. It's whether or not the visitors are paying $3. At $3, even if it's not 8,000 users but 5,000, she's going to make $15,000. So she's actually accepting less in order for it to be a free event for families at the festival, which I think that's wonderful. A Royal Oak-based business also then gets some advertising just by being there, which is great. So we're not really subsidizing the business of the festival. We are subsidizing the families who are coming to visit the festival. And I know many, many, many of those are actually Royal Oak families, in addition to many of the people, the hundreds of thousands of people that come to visit. So I think there's tremendous value here for our residents, for the visitors, and certainly for Royal Oak business. And I think that's really what we're here for. So I'm supportive of it, but I do think we do need a much more robust strategy and a yearly plan of festivals, sponsorships, what we're investing in, and making sure that we're investing where we have maximum ROI.
That's a good point. That you're right. She's not charging, so this is what she's making.
Right.
And it allows her to promote the business that sustains for the rest of the year. So I think that's key.
Director Johnson.
I just want to make sure you understand that we're supportive of this.
Yeah. And
you got caught in the middle of a broader conversation here.
Okay, I'll just, a quick 2 cents and then we'll move on here. I agree with everything that's been brought up at the table here. All the comments have been legitimate and well worth the discussion for sure. Going back to Mr. Dubois' point, one of the things I will be pushing for very strongly as soon as our full-time executive director gets on board, that we will proceed with some type of, however he wants to design it, planning session where we will be reviewing every sponsorship that we have that's currently in the budget right now, as long as with our obligations and our projects that we're doing through infrastructure and so forth. So I believe that that's going to happen. I'm going to push for that very, very hard. And we'll get to be able to take a look at all of our sponsorships and how that money's being spent and so forth. So I think we will follow through with that. My only comment regarding this particular one is that, to me, this is a perfect opportunity for a corporate sponsor. This is something that I would think that a lot of our people that help out around town and our corporate sponsors that we deal with in the past, this would be something that they would jump on right away. I can even think some of our, potentially some of our, Director London brought up the restaurants. Maybe the Restaurant Association would like to be a part of this. And maybe this, potentially this $10,000 funding could be divided up among some of our local businesses. And maybe that's an easier path for us to go. But I understand we're at the end of the bubble right now, and our time frame is, there can be no more discussion on this at this point for this year. But these are discussions that we definitely have to have in the future. I will support this for this year, but I will also strenuously take a hard look at it for years upcoming.
And I'm sorry for the late ask.
Yeah.
And remember, the next time I come bounce around, it's top secret.
Okay, I won't take pictures.
Okay, if there's nothing else,
Just like Kyle's comment did change my vote.
yeah.
That we're,
To think, we need to actually vote. You guys made a motion in a second, but
Yes,
there's no
that's what we're
actual.
moving on.
Okay, I just want
Yeah.
to make sure we're on the same.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna, there is a suggested resolution before us.
I'll move it.
We have a motion.
I think we already
Oh,
did it,
I'm
didn't
sorry.
we?
Yeah.
Yes.
I apologize,
We're
there was a
discussing.
motion in the record and a second. So if there's no further discussion, I'm gonna call for that vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion passes and you're all set.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
I
you very
appreciate
much.
it. And the people will appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, request to fill a vacancy for the DDA, Deputy Director, DDA Manager. I don't know, Susan, you or Mr. Gaucho
I
want to
can
handle
start
this?
and we'll tag team here as we go.
Okay,
So forgive us because neither of us were here maybe the last time you guys had a vacancy. So we are going through a process to fill the vacancy for Mr. Solomon's position and kind of looked at that job description. What you see in front of you is a little bit of a tweak and a little bit of a reclassification. So it'll be, it's being proposed as a DDA Deputy Director / Downtown Manager, focusing a lot on the economic development side. We would probably be again looking at that communications and event planning element and kind of thinking about what that could look like separately as we bring in our executive director. Procedurally, what we're looking for today is a vote from you guys. Then it would go to the city commission to get a vote from them. And then after that, we would be looking to post it probably roughly for about 30 days.
okay.
Did I miss anything?
Anything you want to add to that, Mr. Gaucho?
Sure, I've been in frequent contact with the next executive director, and this is in line with the direction that he will go, not knowing that he would have a vacancy. I thought it prudent to reach out to him and ask his opinion. And yeah, he's understood kind of where the board was at based on some early feedback that I shared. This position is really, the current job description had a lot of marketing and communications as well as some business engagement. The goal here is to have a more business forward position that's dedicated on business development, recruitment, retention, creating a program, creating a database, and giving the board some KPIs on those business touches. So more business centric, and then thinking about a different way to tackle communications, whether that be through a dedicated position for marketing and communications, or whether that be through a dedicated contract. That remains to be seen. We're not trying to bite that apple at this point. But so that's kind of the executive's opinion, and I concur with that direction for the board.
Director Yuzby.
I also concur. I think the retention and recruitment critically important for our downtown right now. So I'm glad to see that. I'm also glad to see, because we've had, I think, some, I don't know, issues, but just difficulty prioritizing time. I'm glad to see there's a removal of this position from events. Typically, we have experts in that field. And but anyway, I think those are two, very key elements in the description that you gave, and I'm very happy to see it.
I just had
Director Walker.
I just had a quick question. Given the expanded role of the position or the tweaks from a budgetary standpoint, would that essentially change from a salary standpoint, since it's not essentially backfilling traditionally, maybe what the last role is, again, with the new expanded role described in the JD?
I would imagine the salary range went up a little bit.
Got it.
but I don't know that it's a significant, I don't know exactly where the previous range was.
Thank you.
My understanding is that there's about a $10,000 to $15,000 difference between the salary rate, the overall range, from the bottom to the top of the range per year. But that also depends on the qualifications of the candidate, right? So. Make the motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Director Yazbek,
Support.
supported by Director Walker. Any other questions? Discussion? Seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, next item, 4th Street Placemaking Grant. Susan, is this you?
Yep.
Or?
This is gonna be me.
Okay.
So you guys may recall, we've had some conversations about kind of over on 4th Street and stringing some lights across between the buildings. And so this is a little bit of an update on where this particular project is. So previously, we had planned to use about $15,000 from Oakland County that we get each year for kind of technical assistance, various projects. The quotes for work came in significantly higher than the $15,000. And we had gone back to the infrastructure committee. They were interested in bringing that cost potentially down to be a little bit closer. We also met with Oakland County since then and found their fiscal year is a little bit different than ours. It actually starts October 1st. So we have $15,000 from their current fiscal year, and we can combine it with $15,000 that we get in the next fiscal year, which starts October 1st. So what we're proposing to do is be able to move forward, utilizing the $15,000 from the current year and next year, and still be able to kind of look at bringing the cost down. Emily, Ms. Roble here, has been helping us with getting some different quotes, and we're still kind of looking through and being able to kind of compare apples to apples. But I kind of wanted to get a sense, the $15,000 for this year, the deadline is coming up, so I do need some form of, yes, this is a plan that you all would like to move forward with, to be able to secure that funding.
Okay. Director Dunstan.
I'll move this.
Motion by Director Dunstan,
I'll second.
second by Director London. I will comment that the infrastructure looked at this and discussed this for a good period of time. And this is the conclusion that we came to, what's here in the memo. It was important to bring the cost down here for a number of reasons. One being, as I pointed out at the infrastructure meeting, that if this project is successful, this is something that we may want to look at other locations throughout the city. So we need to bring the cost in line so that we'll be able to do that as we move forward. So I think it's a good idea. You know, we can just, but I think hopefully Ms. Roble will bring us some other bids and some other quotes. And
Yep. So what I'm looking for from tonight from you all is, yes, this is the direction. We will continue to work in that direction. We'll still provide updates to infrastructure on quotes and bring anything back to the board as necessary. I think some of the other initial quotes we got are still leading to higher than lower. So probably we are looking at using about the whole $30,000.
Okay. Director London.
I have a question. I noticed it was English Gardens. They typically say they have to replace the bulbs every 3 years. Is that the same case with this particular type of bulb?
This is a piece that we're looking into with some of the different vendors. So we are getting quotes from other vendors to do the lights with a similar, or if they have like a different product that they might recommend, to try to understand what are the maintenance obligations. None of you have ever worked on a board with me that has obligations, but I always look at long-term maintenance obligations as a really big part of it. For, I work on the Commission for the Arts a lot, and that's something I'm always talking about, is if we own it, we have to maintain it or say goodbye at some point, and that's a big part of what I'm looking at too.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bulb out there that lasts longer than 3 years.
I hope so,
Yeah.
but you never know.
Otherwise, it's very expensive to maintain.
Yes.
I'll go with Director Van Ness first.
Is there some benchmark or something that we have to approve formally before September 30th in order to get the 15 for this year and then the 15 for next year?
I
Or
think
how does
what
that
I'm
work?
looking for here is just the motion that this is the good direction to go, that you guys are okay with doing the 15 and the 15 for this project.
Okay, I mean, I'm supporting moving forward with the general plan. The costs are a problem for me. I'll need to see something more from English Gardens to justify that, what I consider to be very high cost for the lights. But I just wanted to make sure that we don't jeopardize, if we hem and haw around the cost, that we don't jeopardize the first 15. And we're not doing that?
Yep.
Okay.
Just for clarification, so before we were to enter any agreement with any contractor, it's gonna come back to this board anyway.
Yep.
Director Dunson.
And I'll remind those that were on the board when we switched to the LED Christmas lights from the regular Christmas lights. They have a 30-year, those lights will last 30 years, but they got to replace them every 3 years because the cords don't last that long. Squirrels, well, squirrels too, but the weather itself. So I mean, yeah, well, we can get rid of the squirrels, but we won't be popular. But yeah, so really the lights will last a long time, but the wiring is what deteriorates.
They do it in Europe. There must be something. Better
Well, they have no squirrels in Europe.
Director Gacho.
I just, add, I think this is a great kind of soft gesture the DDA can do for placemaking. I do like that this is a spot we can kind of test out. I do think it adds something. Ambiance is pretty important for placemaking, and I think it does that. And I just want to say, savvy move from staff, looking at the county's fiscal years and leveraging the fiscal year knowledge to cut your budget. Now, so I think it's a good appropriation of the county funds. We're going to get it every year as part of being Main Street accredited. So I think that's the question. Is this a good use of those funds to achieve a project? Whether the project materializes, we'll find out how the quotes go, but I think it's a great use of the funds.
Now we know when she looks for new quotes, I asked about the wiring. That's
squirrel proof.
Yes, squirrel proof.
Okay.
More information.
So I think what we're looking for is a resolution here to continue to move forward.
Yes.
With the projected plan.
The funding plan.
I think I forgot to give you guys the resolution.
I'm sorry, I think, is that was your intent?
Yeah.
Okay.
I moved it and Adrian seconded.
We had a motion and a second. Anybody else got a question or comment?
How many squirrels did we buy?
Okay, so I will call for the vote at this time. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, I will ask both Ms. Parkman and Mr. Gacho, any a need for discussion on the reports that are filed?
You also have the Taco Fest one. I was making a little bit of a judgment call earlier on where you guys normally put the event reports. Sometimes they seem to be in either place. And Ms. Kemp had another event, so I was accommodating her there. So
Okay.
Mr. Witz is here for that.
So Mr. Witz is here. I don't know if you want to make any comments, but we would just open it up for questions, or?
I'd love to make a few comments.
Okay. Come on forward.
Just a few comments on the overall event. We did send a deck. Does everyone have that deck at their disposal? We mentioned we had attendance of 39,000. We were down 25% from last year. Very hot temperatures, and I was actually very pleased with the turnout based on the temperatures. Some highlights: we had a new layout with the stage in the park. We moved the wrestling, which is a popular event, into the farmer's market lot, and the kids stage in the lot south of the courthouse. That moved music away from residents, and the kids stage drew families through the food trucks that were on 3rd Street. I mentioned layout brought larger crowds and supported some of our food trucks there. We gave away canned water to guests during 6 hours each on Saturday and Sunday, which was very appreciated by patrons. The JARS cannabis license, which was approved by the commission, they did not secure state approval in time, so there was no sales and consumption, but they still drew great crowds and were happy, and you know, that was on them, but they were, you know, happy for their presence at the event. For the 4th consecutive year, no major incidents or medical issues, despite some effect and treatment for temperatures, and I was not aware of transports and lower police coverage than in last year, and again, just very mellow, peaceful weekend. I was made aware of a general number on the parking side. I'm not going to disclose, I don't have confirmation on it, but there was, you know, solid revenue for the city on the parking side, and hopefully you guys will investigate into that and check that out. Just to let you guys know, with the investment you made, and I know you'll be looking at events in the future, it leveraged in a festival budget of $771,000, and half the money was a reimbursement for city expenses. So again, hopefully some of that will be reduced with the new parking system. I just put the DDA investment. I mentioned that our gate revenues were down, beverages were down. We got through it, but it was a successful event, and a lot of people showed up and had a great time. The promotional recap, we included a recap with just some of the media that was involved, just so you know where the city was mentioned in a positive light. There was $89,000 in media value from the paid media that we provided, and you can see evidence of that and reports from the different stations, print, radio, TV. There was also a social media campaign. And then I broke that down. And then the media report, just so you know, the positive media coverage on the event, which again, I think it's critical if the DDA is investing in a program like this, that there's going to be positive publicity. And there were 343 stories that included the city of Royal Oak in there. The impressions were 25 million, and the total media value was $4,035,000. And the city of Royal Oak was included as a location in almost all of the editorial coverage. And I tried to keep it brief and to the key points, and I'm available for questions. And I'm also, since I'm here, if anyone has a question about the parking or the real estate situation at Arts, Beats, and Eats, if you would like to ask me that, I could answer that as well.
Any questions for Mr. Witz? I would just ask one thing, with no hurry and just as for the future as we move forward, would you be able to provide us with a breakdown of the amount that you have posted here for reimbursement for city services?
The amount we have that we're...
Well, you have the amount is $45,000.
The amount for city services was 40, my apologies, it's 40,000.
Okay.
And that's what was billed, not 45.
Yes.
I think,
do you have that, Susan? Or?
Yes.
it's in the contract.
I was looking at the contracts this week, and I think I got my 40 and my 45 mixed up. So I believe we have paid $45,000. We owe $40,000, which you guys should see on your next month's expenses. It gets split up into a couple of different payments.
Okay, I got you.
The total amount that was approved with the contract gets split up.
85.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're saying that we owe to Mr.
Yes.
Witz?
Yep.
Not the
And
city.
we also owe the city for expenses at a higher level, and I brought that check forward.
I like that you did that on camera, that it's publicly handed to me.
If you lose it,
I will keep it in a very safe place.
geotag.
You can get it to the treasurer.
So, Ms. Margaret,
Susan's
could
not
we get a
processed yet.
breakdown of those expenses?
Yes, I will work on that.
Thank you. And there's no hurry,
Yes.
just for future knowledge moving forward.
I think around 19,000 were for meters, just for the record.
Yeah,
So,
that's where I'm trying to go with this.
Yeah,
is
I think.
I'm trying to figure out, yeah.
May
I
I
appreciate it. Thank you.
You are welcome. May I ask the chair for the opportunity to make one comment
Sure,
on
go
our
ahead.
parking situation at Arts Beats and Eats?
Go ahead.
It's just because it was brought up in a public meeting. So the alley in question is an alley that is within the footprints that's within the contract of the festival. That alley, which is a city alley, is part of the rights that the city has granted us. It's granted us for public safety. So if you drove down that alley, you would drive straight into crowds if the public was unregulated, and you'd be forcing massive turnarounds and issues. So people that have parking spaces in there are offered generally spaces in other locations. In the case of the gentleman who came to you, we offered passes for his folks to get in there and a security guard to protect the public and let his residents in there. He is refusing to collaborate and accept those passes and says they are private property. So I will be talking to the city about that, but I just want to make sure that for the record, everyone knows we've been in 2 conversations offline, and I somehow find my name, not somehow, I think it's fair that, that were brought up in issues, but I just want to make sure that everyone understands the facts. The facts are there's 4 or 5 or 6 parking spaces on an alley coming off Lincoln that are between Lafayette and Washington. If you were to drive down the public, and anyone could drive down there, and you did not know what you were doing looking for parking, you could drive into people or be forced to make a U-turn in a way that you can't. So what we do is we made an exception for the landowner to give passes for those businesses so they could get in the alley and they could get out, and there's a security guard to ensure that we could accept those passes. And those are not acceptable. So instead of saying that we're doing this and we're doing that, there is an investment, and many municipalities do this and have the right to close their streets. They happen for the draft. They happen in other cities where, areas where private property for a good of a public event or festival are taken and used, and we go to great lengths to communicate and try and work with it. You do not see the owners of the Modley apartments or the Aldor or the Fifth, hundreds of units, many of them with parking, which are dealt with in a collaborative, cooperative way to make it work. Is it perfectly convenient? No, but is there effort? Do the people at the Fifth have valet for their garage, which has an entrance? Are people given parking passes at the old Urbane apartments in the Aldor? Of course. Everyone is covered, and here's a situation where you are hearing information and we are trying to solve it. So just for the record, I want to make sure that, the DDA at least hears a response. I did not get to make it in public comment, and I would have, and that I am available for any question. It was great that City Manager Gaucho, that Emily and Susan attended the meeting where we went through and offered businesses the way that we can help in any way, shape, or form. And we're taking phone calls. We have staff, and we want to work with everyone to make it right. And I understand, Lori, you were out a phone call as well, and
No, I wasn't.
You're not. You're good on the parking behind your building. Are you all set?
Oh, it was email.
Email, yes.
But
you're
you've
on
always,
email.
I was going to say, you always are very good with making up for people who lose their parking.
Well, coming from you, I'm very grateful
Yeah.
to hear that.
No,
I appreciate
it's
that.
always been good.
And I just want to let everyone know that this is, this is a lot of work, and we take it seriously, and we respect everyone, including Frank, and we're trying to solve problems. And I think people make a statement on the festival, we're trying to solve a problem, and they're bringing it to you as a problem without letting us trying to solve it. So I appreciate letting me comment. If there's any questions on that,
Anything else?
Oh,
Thank you, Mr. Wetzel. Go ahead.
Since this is my first year, to clarify, it's more about restricting access of a public right-of-way and not the event or city taking public or private property, like a private parking lot.
It's not about, we can't take a parking lot. Almost every lot collaborates, since cars can't get in and out during the festival, and we use it, some don't. The Rocket printing lot at 6th and Washington, there's no collaboration there. We're leaving openings both on Washington and 6th to get into the businesses off of that lot. Normally, we'd have a seating area in that lot. It's not, but generally, every lot is working with us collaboratively, you know, to either support a business of theirs or to support the community on that sense. It's I would just say 95% collaboration from businesses that, you know, that we're trying to make as much good as possible, and we know it's not all good. We know that there's some negative impact, and we do what we can to mitigate that in every way, but there's a greater good. And I'm glad folks see it that way.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. Okay, to finish up, we have just the annual report from Worry Free, which is in your packet. Pretty much the norm that we get every year from them about what they do and some of the time frames they work under, and the place to report, which we've been getting monthly. So,
I'm the one that requested the report from Worry Free, and my only comment is what I'm expecting is hopefully they can come in and physically be present and introduce themselves. I know I haven't seen it. We've had a lot of transition. It's a big contract, and they also offer contracts, so I think it's kind of incumbent upon them to walk through the program.
okay.
At some point.
Yeah. I think the board would appreciate that. Okay. Anything else anybody wants to bring to the board? Nothing? Director Yazbek.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Director Yazbek.
Support.
Supported by Director Dubon. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes, and we are officially adjourned.
Try to catch the treasurer.